In Tehuantepec, in southern Mexico, an Indian woman works at embroidery, a specialty of her village, and one of the many handicrafts that have made Mexico famous as the land of arts and crafts. The village of Atzompa is known for its miniature pottery. In villages like this, all over Mexico, the people work with their hands, and they have for centuries, making a variety of useful and beautiful things. Many families live by weaving hammocks. The biggest weaving craft is making things of straw. Most important, perhaps, baskets. Baskets for every purpose. The most beautiful and varied are made in villages around the town of Toluca, not far from Mexico City. Several kinds of reed and marsh grass, good for weaving, are found in many parts of the country. The reeds are first washed. Then they are split into narrow strips for weaving. Like most other things the people make in Mexico, baskets, too, follow patterns used for generations. Often, incredible amounts of time and effort are spent creating objects such as these, carved from blocks of solid onyx. There are often weeks of work on a single piece. In workshops in the village of Tecali, the blocks of stone are first sawed into smaller pieces, and the long labor of making dishes and glasses and figures begins. Perhaps the skill and patience of these stone carvers of Tecali is inherited from their Indian ancestors who carved idols for their gods so long ago. Wood carving is an art practiced long before Spain conquered the Indians of Mexico. Every large village has its santero, or carver of saints, as he's called. He carves masks for ceremonial dances. And most important, the religious figures, so dear to Mexicans. In the village of Paracho, woods dry and cure in the sun for the guitar makers who practice this Spanish craft in their little shops. The art of glassmaking is wholly Spanish. Before the conquest, the Indians did not make glass. There are perhaps a dozen glass factories in Mexico, each one owned and run by a single family, directly descended from early Spanish glassmakers. It would be unthinkable that the business should ever fall into the hands of an outsider. And for 4 centuries, these families alone have made Mexican glass. There's practically no end to the number of different objects and styles produced by these families. During the years of Spanish rule, the village of Tasco was a silver mining town. And although there is little mining here today, Tasco is still important as a center for silver work. Much of the silver today is made in modern designs and in great variety to please the tourists. The large ingots of silver are melted down, then poured into molds to make bars of smaller sizes, which are rolled into sheets on modern machinery. The metal is still hammered into shape, as it was when the Indians made breastplates and masks for warriors, and considered silver more precious than gold. The making of ornate spurs and equipment for horses is a special art, practiced by craftsmen in the village of Amozoc. Today's silverwork is one of Mexico's most important industries, as well as being one of its most finely developed arts. Silverwork is highly organized and is usually done in factories. Lacquer work is a home craft, completely Indian in origin. The Spanish knew nothing of this art. The vessel to be lacquered is made of gourd or of wood, which is cleaned and smoothed. A coat of sisa is then applied. The sisa is a compound of oils mixed with thousands of tiny worm-like insects called hacen. It is the oil of this insect, the hacen, that makes the lacquer waterproof and so very hard. Next, dolomite, a common mineral, is powdered between stones and applied to the bowl to make the coat thicker. Now several more coats of sisa, and in between each of these, another coat of dolomite. Powdered paint is mixed with the dolomite and applied to the bowl for background color. The longer it is rubbed, the higher the polish. In most countries, handicrafts die out as soon as there are machines to make things more efficiently. But even though there are the machines and modern factories here in Mexico, the handicrafts live because the people enjoy making things of beauty with their hands. And it is the custom in a country where custom is greatly respected.